Alright guys, it's been about 2 months since I've had this C2S now, and guess what? It's actually been sold. So, let me do a quick little walk around. In the first video that I've done, I thought let me just upload the car, show you a couple of cool things on it. What I'm going to do now is merge the two videos together. Let's quickly show you on the inside one more time and I'll explain to you why it has been sold. So, the reason I've done the video like this is I thought instead of doing two videos, I wanted to do one where I combine everything and show you guys everything on the car and give you my review on the car, having it for, like I said, a couple of months. Now, if you've been following me on YouTube for a while, you guys would know this wasn't replacing my existing vehicle. Believe it or not, I was actually dailying the 458 over there. So, I think the question is it a suitable replacement for myself? Did I like the vehicle? In a nutshell, I'm not going to bore you with all the stats and all the figures and that sort of stuff, but if I'm completely honest, it depends what vehicle you're coming out of and going into. For me, this was just a stepping stone to get onto a list for a GT product. We've bought numerous Porsches in the past before, so I might have got it anyway, but residual values on these sort of cars when they first come out is always great anyway. So I thought, what the hell, let me just try it. I was pretty confident of getting the majority of my money back within the first 6 months anyway. Like I said, it's only been a few months. So I'm not to say that I'm disappointed, but the fact that the car is not naturally aspirated is a big down for me, which there's two things, look and sound in my opinion. On the interior, you've got the comfort and that sort of stuff, which you can't top this particular vehicle on. I think it's fantastic. As I said, this is what I was driving every single day to and from work. I commute locally, so I don't have any issues with parking and all of that sort of stuff. My next point would be, I've had a few people ask me, would I swap the 992 for my mum's 991 C2S Stormtrooper pack? And I probably wouldn't, because this thing sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds much better than that. And obviously any NA product going forward from Porsche, in the sense of a GT4 or a GT3 or an RS or whatever it might be, naturally they're going to sound a lot better than this would, depending if you like turbocharged cars. For me, I'm not a fan. I mean, this feels fantastic, but I don't really get that special sense of an occasion. But then at the same time, I'm not going to knock it completely, because to be fair, I am comparing it to a 458. So let's do a few little sound tests. No doubt you're going to see a few of these already on YouTube, so if I'm boring you, my apologies, but I haven't seen too many videos like this at the moment. So we'll do a sound, let's try doing a comparison of the two, and let's see. Also, I was waiting for it to get a little bit darker, so it picks up the crayon finish a little bit more. If I darken that video a little bit, it gives you a true sense of what I can see in real life. You guys can probably just see the version like this, which looks pretty white, but I can assure you that is crayon. In the first video that I did, it looked pretty white too, but anywho, let's go by the colour first. Colour, I love it. I wouldn't change that. Alloys, they're the oldest alloys that Porsche do on their current range from what I believe. But these alloys match this particular vehicle a lot better in terms of the colour and obviously the panel roof pack on the top. Let's quickly go to the back. Like I said, I'm not knocking this car completely. I just don't like the fact that it's turbocharged and I don't get that special sense of occasion, but I'm not saying, I'd probably give this car like about a 7.5 out of 10. But like I said, it's in comparison to the 458. However, I would still have this over that. Let's quickly give you a little walk around this. Same alloys. The only difference is these are actually the gunmetal grey from factory, and we got them changed via Lepson's, but you wouldn't think this car is about 8 years old, 7 to be exact, but yeah, you get the point. 991.1. And now going back to this pack, this light pack is fantastic. It looks absolutely amazing, especially at night. I think it looks better with the spoiler down, if I'm honest with you. But this is my last little video stroke walk around of the car. And just to confirm, guys, I have actually got a GT4 coming now, which I'm looking forward to in November. It must be said going forward that the new particulate filters that are going to be fitted to the vehicles, is that going to take the fun out of the car? From what I've heard on a few reviews already of the GT4, which is live now, it's not great. it's not sounding great. And I've heard that if you put an aftermarket exhaust on one of these, there's a strong possibility that's going to void your warranty, and that's what my local dealership have also told me. So bear that in mind. For that reason, it makes me think, if you really want to get into a GT car, instead of ordering numerous cars, why don't you just, at the moment, you're looking at paying probably about 30k over list for a Gen 2 GT3 Touring at the moment. These prices can change depending on spec and when you're seeing this video and when you're searching and all that sort of stuff. But as I said, guys, this car is pretty good. Can't complain. 8 out of 10 for me. The drive, you don't get that sense of excitement, as I said. Comfort is fantastic. What can I say? Handling is great. The Bose sound system is okay. I've got an aftermarket Rockford Fosgate component set in the 458, which again, you can't beat an aftermarket in my opinion. Some people like to keep it factory, which is fair enough. This is the Bose, as I said. I've never actually heard the Burmester system, so whether or not that's actually that much better, I've heard from some people that it is. Some people think it's not that great, so whatever. In terms of the rest of the stuff, pano roof you had to go for. Like I said, it depends what you're coming out of and going into. With all due respect, if you're coming out of something like a BMW M4 and landing into one of these bad boys, then you'd probably be really happy. Obviously it's a twin turbo. There's probably a lot of potential in regards to remaps and whatnot. I'll probably show you this key. It's pretty funky. They've sort of slimmed it down a little bit. It's a bit more streamlined than the previous version. However, that you can just leave over here, and the vehicle is started from there, which we'll get onto in a second. You're probably familiar with the rest of this. If you've got any questions, just feel free to drop it down below. I'd always do videos that are like just a one-off shoot. I don't really like to just start again, pause and all that sort of stuff, because I just feel like it's not authentic enough. So sorry if it's not the most professional thing that you've seen. I'm just trying to give you an honest review on the vehicle. Efficiency on the vehicle is pretty great in terms of fuel economy, depending on how you want to drive. You're probably getting about 180. I was getting about 182 a tank, give or take. Again, depending on how you drive it. This vehicle is stupidly quick. I think the 0 to 60, some people have clocked it in at about 3.2, some people 3 dead, depending on what you want to believe. I don't know exactly what mine was, to be honest. All I know is it was quick enough. But once again, when you floor it, you don't get that sense of excitement or the roar that you're going to get from one of these two NA beauties. So again, it just depends what you want from the vehicle. If you're happy with a little bit of engine noise, nothing too fancy, but if you want something that's going to give you a bit of a growl, then go for it. What I would not recommend is doing, if you're gonna get this, I would recommend getting your own sport exhaust and not Porsches. In doing that, like I said, you will void your warranty, but I wouldn't pay over $2,000, which is what it is for one of these sport exhausts. And you'll see why in a minute. Hopefully it comes through in the camera, and I'll be doing a comparison of the two vehicles with the sound test and whatnot. But sound for me is a big thing, and this was a little bit of a letdown. But in terms of everything else, can't complain. I think this is absolutely beautiful. And for anyone wondering, the GT4 will also be the same color and spec, which, yeah, it might be a little bit boring, but maybe that's just me. I just like crayon because it's a relatively new color into Porsche's lineup. It's only been around for a couple of years. I've had a white Porsche before, had a Cayman, as you know, and I went straight into the red 458, which I'll quickly get in the shot now for you guys as well. There's other videos on my channel with this vehicle too. So there you go, there it is. Just had a little detail done on it, which looks fantastic. And like I said, in my personal opinion, this car in particular is quick enough. It looks great. Personal preference, some people would probably pick the chrome because it's the in color. Grey is very fashionable at the moment, not just with vehicles, but with people going for their kitchens and bathrooms or whatever. I would know because that is what I do. So yeah, anyway, let's do a little sound test of these two vehicles. Right guys, after hearing those two, you probably get my point. Bearing in mind, this car has not even been driven for about 48 hours, so it takes time for it to warm up, and it cracks and burbles. I know I shouldn't be revving it like that because the car should be warming up. Anywho, this one actually sounds a little bit louder once it is warmed up in the Sport Plus mode. I'll show you the inside of this. Like I said, full Stormtrooper pack. Also got, it's pretty much fully kitted out, PASM, Sport Plus, exhaust, white paneling, which was the first of its kind to have the option available. Pano sunroof. And as I said, the sport exhaust, which I forgot to mention earlier on the 992, its rev limiter is limited to 2,800 RPM, give or take a couple of hundred, whatever it might be. I think it's up to 3,000, but anywho, that doesn't sit right with me. You don't spend over 100 grand on a car just for them to limit the, you know, the exhaust potential. Bit of a downer, as I said. It's we're kind of spoiled for choices with cars, but for someone else looking to spend over 100 grand on a vehicle, you'd still be happy with this, don't get me wrong. They're just little teething issues that you need to, you know, rectify. And like I said, I would personally save the 2 grand and get an aftermarket exhaust on it. That way you can kind of bypass a few of the filters, get them taken out, and just do straight pipes. If you want it louder, that is. Personally, it doesn't, if you were to close your eyes and rev this vehicle, or if you was just you know, cruise at say 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, whatever it might be on the M25 or motorways or whatever, it doesn't sound like a 100 grand car. And in my opinion, if you're spending that sort of money on a sports car that looks as great as this does, which looks wise, I think, like as I said, is pretty much 10 out of 10, you'd want it to sound a little bit better, in my opinion. But that's probably just me showing my age. Some people just don't want a loud car and they're happy for it to be what it is, which is still a fantastic car. But yeah guys, let me know what you think. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll see you guys in another video sometime soon.